Humans are raising xenomorphs as pets. The girl is in front of a specially made tempered glass, and it is impossible for the xenomorph to break it. Wendy, who is in charge of feeding, has already learned part of the xenomorph's language and can communicate in simple terms. However, the xenomorph is extremely aggressive, but humans believe that one day it will be domesticated. But the xenomorph's growth rate is extremely fast, and in just a few days, it has grown to adult size. Other alien creatures in the lab are fed by the zookeeper, Tuto. The eyeball octopus is parasitic in the sheep, so he only needs to feed the sheep. Next is the carnivorous alien plant ... After greeting it, Tuto turns to another alien creature, a bug that eats metal. Tuto has prepared some metal ore for it, but the feeding compartment seems to be stuck. It turns out that he is a bionic man, and his strength is much greater than a human's. He goes to the computer and opens the lock against the rules, then opens the door to the culture room. The eyeball octopus watches this, seemingly planning an evil scheme. Tuto carefully walks to the culture chamber with a tray. He uses his foot to hold the door open and prepares to drop the food and leave. In the next second, Tuto is startled and just wants to leave quickly. However, the door is already locked. Just then, a low growl comes from the nest. He is a bionic man, and his body is made of metal and organic matter, which is obviously to the taste of the iron-eating bugs. He tries to calm the bugs down, but a stream of corrosive liquid is spit on his face. Tuto's body is quickly corroded and he falls to the ground. His eyeball octopus is still watching coldly as these alien creatures begin to greedily feast. I think the movie name is Alien Earth.
To get revenge on her stalker, the woman took off her nightgown, slipped it over a pillow, and stabbed it dozens of times. Then she drew a full kilogram of her own blood, splashed half a gin of it on the floor, and let a single drop fall near the doorway. To make the crime scene appear more convincing, she mixed the remaining blood with water and smeared it all over her nightgown. When everything was ready, she put the nightgown back on, lay down on the sofa, and right before the stalker opened the door, she held her breath and pretended to be dead. Sure enough, the moment the man stepped inside, his foot landed on the blood by the door, leaving undeniable evidence of his entry. Seeing the woman on the sofa covered in blood, he froze in shock, then bolted out in a panic, afraid he'd be dragged into a murder case. He thought that leaving quickly would keep him safe, but what he didn't know was that his entrance had already been recorded by a camera the woman had set up beforehand. She then used the camera's timer to take photos of herself lying dead on the sofa, pulled out a strand of her own hair and placed it next to the pool of blood on the floor, snapping countless crime scene shots. Once she had enough photos, she switched roles, pretending to be the killer, and began cleaning up the blood from the floor. Before leaving, she deliberately left a drop of blood under the sofa, a planted clue for the police to confirm her death. Then, she walked out of the apartment and vanished without a trace. What she didn't realize was that the man wasn't entirely foolish. That night, he returned in the guise of a real estate agent, bringing a couple to view the property. He figured that as long as he entered the room after them, he could clear himself of suspicion. But the moment he stepped inside, he was stunned. The woman who had died on the sofa earlier that day had completely disappeared. Sensing something was wrong, he hurried to open the bedroom door, only to find it empty. Little did he know, he had already fallen into the elaborate trap the woman had set for him. And what awaited him next was a long stay behind bars. Next part will be coming soon. Stay connected. Love you all.
A 52-year-old widow was spotted by a wealthy tycoon on her first trip to the city, who offered to hire her as his full-time housekeeper, primarily responsible for preparing 3 meals a day. Having tasted her homemade noodles in the countryside, he found them evoked the comforting taste of home. Ma Ying finally understood. She silently clenched her fists, summoned her courage, and demanded a salary of 5 million. If possible, she also requested an advance of 1.5 months' salary. Without hesitation, the tycoon agreed. To him, money was merely a number. Later, an accompanying minister briefed the woman on the chairman's dietary habits. No particular restrictions, but a poor appetite. 10 chefs had already been replaced before her. To hold on to this hard-won job, Ma Ying refused to use hotel ingredients. She insisted on personally sourcing ingredients daily to recreate that home-cooked flavor. After this brief exchange, the debt-ridden woman received an 8 million won check and hurriedly expressed her gratitude. It felt like a dream, and it wasn't until she stepped outside the hotel that she truly believed it was real. Her first act was rushing to the bank to pay off loan interest. Her late husband had left her with 2 billion won in debt. To avoid burdening her 2 daughters, she had no choice but to leave her hometown and seek work in Seoul. This was the most carefree day since her husband's passing, a glimmer of hope finally piercing her bleak existence. Ma Ying approached her new job with utmost diligence, meticulously preparing home-style meals. Breakfasts focused on light, nutritionally balanced dishes. Seeing 2 sets of bowls and chopsticks laid out on the table, the chairman looked puzzled. Ma Ying cautiously explained that eating alone wasn't satisfying and suggested inviting his subordinates to join them for breakfast. The chairman didn't refuse, taking a small sip of the beef soup. Yet his stern expression gave no hint of satisfaction. Thoughtfully, he mixed millet into the rice. At his age, eating whole grains was better for his health. Seeing the chairman eat heartily, Ma Ying breathed a sigh of relief and hurried into the kitchen to prepare rice water. The expressionless tycoon finally showed approval. He eagerly lowered his head to drink the rice water he hadn't tasted since childhood. Yes, it was the flavor from his youth. His subordinate was also won over by the auntie's cooking, praising her as a culinary goddess. The chairman wore a meaningful expression, seemingly still savoring the taste of the breakfast. Ma Ying's anxiety melted away. Her aunt had come to Seoul to see her, genuinely delighted for her new job. She then asked why Ma Ying hadn't answered her calls. Only then did Ma Ying realize her phone was missing, likely left in the kitchen. Worried her daughter couldn't reach her, she turned back to retrieve it. She quietly opened the door to the mansion suite. Stay connected, next 4th part of this interesting K-drama is coming soon. Love you all.
On the surface, the girl appears innocent and naive, but in reality, she has a congenital psychological disorder. She disregards life, deliberately throwing a dog from the 18th floor, using a seesaw to violently strike classmates' heads and stomp on their chests, and she claims it's just a simple game. No one believes this could be done by a 5-year-old girl. Soon the girl's mother was called to the school. The girl always intentionally causes harm to her classmates. Because she shows no remorse, the school can only have her transferred, but the mother seems to realize her daughter's abnormality. But before she can think of a solution, the girl's twisted psychology becomes increasingly severe. This morning, when she wakes up, she finds her daughter leaning against the wall, staring at her intently. Looking down, there's somehow a new wound on her leg. Seeing her mother's terrified expression, the girl calmly inquires. As the girl's terrifying behavior continues, the scars on her mother's body multiply. She realizes her daughter has developed antisocial personality disorder. To prevent further accidents, she locks all the controlled knives in the house into a cabinet and even takes the girl to the hospital for psychological intervention, thinking that after treatment she would return to normal. Who knew that not long after, the working mother received a complaint from neighbors? The girl had thrown someone else's dog from the rooftop. Looking at the girl's completely innocent expression, the mother's back runs cold. Eventually, she spent $10,000 to buy that dog, but the girl said it's just a dog. If it's gone, we can buy another one. The mother was completely shocked by her daughter that to completely stop the girl, she keeps her daughter by her side, monitoring her constantly, yet still can't prevent the girl from making mistakes. Because seeing a girl her own age greeting others intimately, the girl's heart instantly fills with jealousy. This day, when there's no one in the office, and the girl's father hasn't come to pick her up yet, she ignores the girl's refusal and does a breath-holding experiment with her. Soon the girl bites her because she can't breathe. Just as she's about to strike again, the girl's father arrives. Stay connected, next part will be coming soon. Love you all.